Jon Stewart brilliantly exposed CNN's true colors when he used the mute setting live on air to highlight the network's manipulative tactics. Recently, CNN's Jake Tapper released a bombshell book that confirms what any clear-eyed observer already suspected: Joe Biden's mental acuity is in steady decline.
The thing is, though, it was a terrible cover-up because we all knew.
Since the release of Jake Tapper's book, Jon Stewart has emerged as one of the most vocal critics of CNN. According to critics, CNN deceived the entire nation by turning away from the truth and misleading the public. The host of The Daily Show skillfully tore CNN's deceptive reporting to shreds, dismantling the credibility of each program one by one. This wasn't just commentary, it was a live media surgery. If you're also a seeker of raw truth and open discussion, subscribe now so the next truth doesn't get hidden from you.
Why are they hawking this f***ing thing? Is this a Girl Scout cookie situation? Whoever sells the most Tapper books gets a schwinn.
Jon Stewart exposed CNN's lies with a scathing critique, pointing out how the network turned Joe Biden's illness into a marketing tool for their book. This wasn't journalism, it was the slick maneuvering of a used car salesman, just with a press card. When the public criticized them, CNN deflected all responsibility onto onlookers instead of owning up a complete dud. What was presented as reporting was actually emotional manipulation, where truth was wrapped in agenda and drama and sold to the audience. Today's media isn't driven by truth, it's driven by clicks, views, and viral headlines. Every narrative is filtered through marketing goals and political bias. The Hunter Biden case is a prime example. Biden promised accountability, but when the moment came, he pardoned his son and swept everything under the rug. How can you trust a leader who bends the truth for personal gain? I don't, and you shouldn't either.
Observers will say that the reporting in the book is even more important now.
Yet nobody's saying that. No observers will say it's more important now. Some observers might think, do these CNN people work on commission?
Jon Stewart was practically forced to mock the man's appearance, and honestly, it was well-deserved, because if you're going to lie about President Biden's declining health, the least you can do is keep your hairstyle serious. It felt like satire had written itself. But behind the laughter was a deeper message. Journalists should prioritize truth over fame. Half-truths and deception aren't journalism. What we need is honesty, caution, and accountability, not arrogant lectures and flashy appearances. If these people spent more time on real reporting instead of sitting in salons, maybe we wouldn't have to go digging for the truth ourselves. And the most ironic part, President Trump's jab, which ended up being just another shameful twist in this entire circus.
Why are they hawking this f***ing thing? Is this a Girl Scout cookie situation? Whoever sells the most Tapper books gets a schwinn.
And that's exactly why I don't like left-wing comedians. When Trump says something even mildly human like wishing Joe Biden good health, they react as if they've just witnessed a shocking plot twist in a thriller. For years, their entire narrative has painted Trump as a fascist, a tyrant, the second coming of Hitler. So when he does anything remotely normal or decent, it clashes with the cartoon villain they've spent so long constructing. But the problem isn't with Trump, it's with them. Because once you've written an entire script with someone as the villain, real humanity doesn't fit the role. They don't want the truth, they just want an adversary. And when reality doesn't match the story, they can't handle it. This isn't comedy, it's a staged illusion, where even the applause is built around a lie. CNN's double standards and Jon Stewart's biased performance have made that painfully clear.
Look, I don't believe that they just found out Friday, but because they're not credible on anything they've done.
So true. Yeah, I'll bet he didn't find out Friday.
This time, Jon Stewart didn't hold back. His criticism of CNN's double standards was absolutely justified. It felt as if CNN was just waiting for Trump to slip up, sitting on the edge of their seats, ready to pounce. If Trump hadn't mentioned Biden's health, they would have called him heartless. If he'd said too much, they'd label it toxic rhetoric. But when he delivered a simple, human message, wishing Biden a speedy recovery, their entire narrative started to crumble. You could see the discomfort on their faces, like their script had failed in real time. Why? Because they didn't want genuine humanity. They just wanted political ammunition, and Stewart, with zero hesitation, exposed that hypocrisy for what it was. CNN isn't delivering news anymore. It's writing a fictional script where Trump is always the villain, no matter what truth he speaks.
I don't know if that was like a green screen thing, but whatever's happening here, I imagine if I had a nodule on my prostate, this is what it might look like.
Trump is simply stating the facts as they are. And it's hard to understand what point Jon Stewart is really trying to make. The Biden family's decision to remain silent until the situation reached a symbolic breaking point wasn't just poor judgment, it was a deliberate lack of transparency. That's not an oversight, it's calculated dishonesty. It strongly suggests that the truth was being withheld for quite some time. If they truly didn't want the public to know, then why speak up now? Why conveniently break the news when a book launch needs buzz or political pressure starts mounting? It doesn't feel like honesty, it feels like strategic damage control, dressed up as compassion. For all the criticism Trump receives, at least he's putting the issue on the table. This isn't a matter of timing, it's a matter of trust. And right now, the Biden campaign is falling short where it matters most.
No exclamation points, no all caps, no insults. Whole thing spelled correctly.
The Democrats have truly mastered the art of deception and secrecy. At this point, nothing they do is surprising anymore. They misled the public about Joe Biden's deteriorating mental health, orchestrated a cover-up of the Hunter Biden laptop scandal, and dismissed politically inconvenient questions like those about the origins of COVID-19 by branding them as conspiracy theories. With that track record, would anyone really be shocked if, years from now, a book revealed that Biden had known about his condition a decade earlier, but chose to hide it for political gain? The real question isn't if they're hiding something, it's when the truth will finally come out. The Democrats have traded transparency for carefully scripted talking points, leaving the American people blindfolded, all while pretending everything is under control.
It's important that I speak up and thank President Trump for his gracious statement.
Couple of things. It is not important that you speak up at all.
Let's be honest, the cover-up itself isn't even the real issue anymore. Everyone could see what was happening. The vacant stares, the confusion, the constant gaffes, none of it was exactly a state secret. What truly stings is the outright refusal to admit it. The condescending gaslighting, the non-stop spin, the bold-faced lies. That's what frustrates people. And while Jon Stewart may think he's offering a balanced viewpoint, his bias is showing loud and clear. There's nothing neutral about it. Neither Biden nor the Democrats ever had the courage to admit he might be too old or unfit to lead. Not until it became painfully obvious and politically inconvenient. That's what really gets under people's skin. Just look at the claims Democrats were making not long ago and how quickly they've shifted the narrative.
Trump maintained that level of gravitas for almost an entire day.
All the while, they knew they were lying, every single one of them. Yet they smiled for the cameras, delivering polished narratives wrapped in scripted nonsense. We weren't being irrational. We were simply pointing out the obvious. But instead of being heard, we were mocked, dismissed, and labeled as conspiracy theorists. And now, after months, even years of denial, they expect applause for finally acknowledging the truth we've been shouting from the rooftops. Spare us. That's not bravery, it's damage control, plain and simple. And it's too little, too late. That's why we feel betrayed. That's the wound that still stings. And that's why we're still speaking out, because when integrity was needed, they chose image. We already knew, they're just now catching up. And only because the ratings finally demand it.
You know what? Maybe it is another cover-up. I don't know. If they came out and said, yeah, Biden knew about it 5 years ago, I wouldn't be shocked. If they came out and said Biden found out on Friday, I wouldn't be shocked.
Let's be real. Both sides play the same dirty game when power is at stake. Democrats and Republicans alike have mastered the art of delay, distraction, and denial. Just look at Elon Musk's recent comments suggesting Trump's name in the Epstein papers is why they've stayed buried. Is there hard proof? Not yet. But would anyone really be surprised? In today's politics, power often beats principle. Whether it's Biden's health or Epstein's black book, the real issue is a political class that puts survival over accountability. We're not just witnessing scandals, we're facing a crisis of trust. From CNN's spin to Musk's accusations, the pattern is clear: deception everywhere. Both sides twist facts, and the media cherry-picks what fits the narrative. The American people are tired, not of imperfection, but of dishonesty. So we'll keep questioning, keep speaking up, and keep exposing the truth, no matter who it implicates. That's it for today's video. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.